In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. Push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors for the next era of gaming. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Hey, it's Kristen Mulcahy from Appalachian Wireless. Let's talk for a second. Those big name carriers, they talk big, flash big numbers, make bold promises, but then comes the fine print, the hidden fees, and the coverage that doesn't cover. At Appalachian Wireless, we don't hide behind contracts or call centers. We live here, we work here, and we provide service with real savings, real devices, and coverage wherever you go. So if you're tired of getting the runaround and listening to those empty promises, visit us online or in one of our many retail locations today, because we are you, we are Appalachian Wireless.
Well, hey, everybody, it's me, Rosie O'Donnell, and you have found my podcast, Onward, with Rosie O'Donnell. So you know the show Love on the Spectrum. It's been on in a few iterations. It was a British show or an Australian show, and then they made a U.S. version, and it's an amazing show about people on the spectrum of all ages, most of them in their 20s or 30s, trying to figure out love and life and the world, you know. And if you have an autistic person in your life, it is just, even if you don't, it is just the most beautiful show to watch. So one of the men on there, Michael, who is very charming and very lovely, he found me on Instagram and we've been DMing, and he asked me if I wanted to go on Instagram Live for Love on the Spectrum, first one that they're doing live. I said, sure. So I popped on. Luckily, I figured out how to get on there. And there they were, the whole cast. And we just talked for like a little over an hour. And it was so much fun and it was so heartwarming. The questions that they were asking me, the facts that they knew about me. And as I'm reading the comments, as I'm commenting, I see Ricki Lake. It says, Ricki Lake, hey, Ro, I think this is so adorable. And I'm like, of course Ricki Lake would find her way in here. I love Ricki Lake, and I love that she was watching and appreciated just how amazing it was to see that and to participate in that. So I don't know. I just, it was like beshert, you know, a Jewish word meaning meant to be, that I got a little Ricki Lake last night, and I'm presenting to you our conversation from a couple weeks ago. We've been friends a long time, but I don't have to tell you anything because, frankly, it's all in this conversation. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my friend, Ricki Lake. I'm here with my good friend, Ricki Lake. Hi, Ricki Lake.
Hi, Rosie. I'm here in person. I love you.
You're the best.
You are. I've learned from you. I feel like I've admired you long before I actually knew you.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking today on the way over here? When was the first time that we actually like chatted and talked? I think it was right before
we went
to the
Can we say what movie we saw?
Hey, that's
the bird.
Yeah, that's
Dolly. No, Dolly, no.
Dolly, which was my childhood nickname. That's okay. Dog can bark.
Go sit down.
Go ahead.
She will. If she sees seagulls, she will. Go see.
I think when we went to see that Wayne's World
in the Valley,
because I had met you at like a Denny's or something. Remember, you were sitting in the back booth?
You remember everything.
I know.
I've taken Ambien periodically in my life,
yes.
so I don't remember details. But I remember going to the movies with you in the Valley. It was in Studio City. We walked out.
Yes, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was
I couldn't
really
watch
bad.
the whole
Thank you.
movie. And I was like, do you want to stay for this? And you were like, no.
No.
And so then we went out and we had lunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we ate?
No,
Okay.
but I do remember you saying to me, I'm going to go to New York and do a talk show. And I remember
Really?
thinking, how do you do a talk show? How would you and at the time, there was no one but Oprah. It was
Right.
all Oprah all the time, right?
Yep.
Everybody else was getting beat up on TV.
This was in 1992.
It was.
I got the pilot for the show.
Wow.
And I remember years later, you came to me and asked, you wanted to know what the drill was. Like, how does it
Yes.
work? Because they were talking to you.
Right.
My show is obviously a huge hit. And I told you, I told you my workload.
Yep.
You ended up with a much better deal than I did.
Yes.
But I'm not complaining.
No, you did very well for yourself.
I did well.
We were at Ricky's gorgeous house in Malibu here up on a mountain overlooking the Pacific Ocean, which the most beautiful floral garden design I've ever seen in a house.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
gorgeous.
you.
It's a beautiful place.
It took a lot to get to that spot.
Yeah, it
you
took
know?
you like 8 years to make
It
it,
took seven
right?
and a half to find it and then build it. There was one thing after another. Then my partner, Christian Evans, passed away halfway through building the house. And the goal was never to be on a mountaintop by myself. You know, he and I were the idea, I was living in Brentwood. Had you ever been to my Brentwood house?
No.
'Cause Robin Roseanne, our dear friend, she says that's like her favorite house ever. It was
Is this the one that you sold it to somebody who turned it quick?
Who flipped it?
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
you're
I'll
still
say it.
mad at. Go.
Toby Maguire.
Toby
Okay.
Maguire.
First, let me say I bought it from Courtney Cox. So,
Okay.
like name dropping galore. Bought it from Courtney Cox. She has great taste.
Yes.
It was a fucking killer house. And can I say fuck on your?
Yeah, I think so.
And then I lived there for like 11 or 12 years and sold it. I was ready to downsize, but not downsize because of financial means. It was like I wanted a smaller piece of property and house because that was like 7,000 square feet. It was,
That's big.
it was a lot of house. And I wanted to get a place in Ibiza and get a smaller place here and be on the water,
Right.
be like overlooking the water. I sold it to Toby Maguire. He painted it white and dressed it, staged it white and flipped it a year later for $2 million more. I'm not
Ouch.
mad. I'm over it.
Are
I'm
you
totally,
over it?
I'm totally over it. Good for him.
Yeah, it's amazing what people can see, and people who have that natural talent of looking at a house and knowing, which I think you do. Oh, I'm going to knock out this wall. I'm going to put this here. That's not my thing at all. I have to go in and see it done.
Really? You
Yes.
can't,
No.
you don't want a project. Okay, then
No.
the house on my street is not for you.
Well, I don't think I have the ability to have the patience to wait. And when I walk into a house and see what I naturally like, which is white overstuffed furniture and
Shabby chic.
chrome, shabby chic is me, and chrome. It was because the first kind of rich person's house I ever really went to was Madonna's in Miami.
Okay.
And I walked in and that's how it was. It was, the 90s. It was
Right.
like 92 or something. And I was like, okay, if I ever get successful, this is what I will do.
Weren't you successful at that time when you?
No.
No?
I
You'd
was
had-
a stand-up comic.
You won Star Search.
I didn't win.
okay.
I came in second, and me and Sinbad didn't win that year.
Oh, that's right.
Did you know he's had a bad stroke?
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's sadly been kind of incapacitated for 2 or 3 years trying to cope with this horrible stroke and relearning how to talk and walk. And they have a GoFundMe set up for him because, the medical bills are extraordinary. But it's so sad to think, somebody our age, boom,
Terrible.
taken out of the game.
He is what, 60 or
He's
something?
got
He's
to
a
be
little
in
older
his
than me.
60s, right?
That's
I'm
horrible.
60.
I
How
had
old
no
are you?
idea. I'm 54.
Oh, you're just a baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 6 years on
I'm getting
you, kid.
better with age.
You
that's
sure,
for sure
are, and I feel the same way. I feel such a calmness about my life and a lack of thinking there's somewhere I have to get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think we are lucky because we've had I can speak for myself. I assume for you, but I've achieved. I've proven myself to me, and I love the work I put out. I love the documentary work I do.
Yeah, so brilliant job at those.
Thank you. I just feel like I've made my mark in the world. I've made an impact. I want to do more. I'm not done, but I'm not driven by staying relevant or
Right.
making more money. That is not my MO. It's about quality of life with my new husband, who I'm so madly in love with.
I'm in love with him too, just so you know.
I
All the
heard what you
lesbians
said when
love
we
him.
said goodbye.
Yes.
He is so special. And I deserve him. That's the piece of it that I think for so long in my life, being a fat girl, being not the object of affection for so many, and, having love, like having deep love. But I think coming into my own and really loving myself is very new.
Yes.
And I think I would not have been able to call in this quality of man had I not felt the way I did about myself,
Yes. And how did you get there, Rick? Because you were heavy your whole childhood, right? You were always the big girl?
No, I was sexually molested as a little girl. And
I was as well.
Yes, I think I knew that. I was 6 years old, and that was when I started turning to food. And my mother didn't know how to handle it. She had her whole own eating disorder. And, so the more she would be harping on me, because I was an embarrassment to her. It's such an ironic situation, because my mom, who I don't have a relationship with.
I know that, yes.
Not for many, many years.
You went no contact before there was a thing of going no contact.
Was there
now there's a
became
thing where kids or adults who have people in their life, you have to go no contact.
Really?
And that's what they're calling, when you see on TikTok or whatever.
I don't do TikTok, so
I know, I got to get you onto that. But it really is like crack.
It's poison.
Not that I've ever done crack, but what my impression is.
No, I haven't.
Okay,
no,
well,
I haven't
please,
done crack.
that's scary to me. But you're
kidding.
much more adventurous in your drug world than I ever was.
But not to crack. I want to be clarified.
No, let's be clear. No meth, no crack, no heroin.
No, and I think no TikTok for me, because I can't, it's too frustrating. I mean, I watch you and I see it mostly on Instagram, your stuff.
Right.
But I don't have the patience. And it's just,
It is really something that is so addictive and probably so damaging to society as a whole. And years to come, we're going to find out just how much damage it caused,
And you have a young child still. That's, do you let her peruse?
Well, because she has autism and such a specific interest, she doesn't know anything about communicating with other people unless you're in the game of Roblox, and then you can only type, right?
Right.
So her world revolves around her video games. But what it's done to fame, in a way, that your celebrities that you love and adore, your stars, are accessible, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never left school if there was a chance that Barbra Streisand could have seen anything I wrote to her. I would have been writing her every day.
Yeah.
I used to write when I didn't know where to send the letters when I was a kid. I'd get the album, Columbia Records, and I'd send it to Columbia Records.
Did you ever get an answer back?
No, of course not. She was the biggest.
Your own show.
Correct.
That's the only time you met her was on your show, and I remember.
No, I was nominated for an Emmy in the same category as her once.
Okay.
And I was at the Emmy sitting in the front row, and she walked by me and she said, "Oh, congratulations. I hear you're very funny." And I was like, humana. Yes, nice to meet you. And, they did the categories. It's like, these stars and then this upcoming young comic that nobody had heard of.
What year is this?
God almighty. It was probably 90.
Wow. So before your talk show. And I remember when you got her on your show, she came on just once?
No, I ended up doing a bunch with her. I went to her house.
I remember when you flipped the set, right?
Yes, of course.
I remember that.
For 2 months in advance, I flipped the set for her. But, listen, there was nothing she could have done that I wouldn't do to accommodate her.
Right.
I feel so much indebted to her for inspiring me to be myself and think I could do it. She sounded like me, not her vocally, of course, but she had the New York accent. She looked familiar.
Right.
I don't know. And her brilliance is unparalleled, and it kills me now, Ricki, that some of my kids and stuff and, my nieces, they go, "Who?" And I go,
I know.
My, my friend's son said to her yesterday, the son's 16 and she's about 50. And the son says to her, "Who's this lady Cher?"
No.
Cher.
They all live in Malibu.
Yes,
we should all have lunch at my house or your house.
We should have a little party.
So are you in touch with her? Can you go over? Have you been to her house?
No, I haven't been to her house, but we're sometimes in touch on text. And I love her. I've always loved her, but I don't bother her because I know she's a very insular person.
And can you be normal with her?
Yes. Hey, don't go away. There's more after this with Ricki Lake.
Hey, it's Deanne Stevens for Be Medi Spa. Be Medi Spa is such a special place. A place you walk into in need of a pick-me-up and you walk out feeling completely rejuvenated. What makes Be Medi Spa different is how personal it feels. Their expert team customizes a skincare plan just for me. My skin hasn't ever looked any better. They just opened their beautiful new location at 171 Prosperous Place. You have to check it out. New patients get 20% off select services when they tell them Deanne sent you. Follow their socials at Be Medi Spa to learn more.
Hey, it's Cole Swindell. After I give everything I've got to land a perfect vocal, I usually take 5 before jumping into the next track. And I've learned exactly how to recharge in that time. Some folks grab coffee. I hit a quick good luck spin. Next thing you know, the break is just as fun as laying down the track. A better break makes for a better take. Need a break? Let's chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus TNC Supply. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
How discreet are dating apps really? Because wanting to put yourself out there is one thing, but wondering who else might see it, who might stumble across your profile, or who might be watching, that's something else entirely. Most dating apps are built to be shared. Profiles, updates, notifications, everything designed to be public, visible, and broadcast. And that works for some people until it doesn't. Until privacy matters more than performance. Ashley Madison is different. It's built for people who value privacy when it comes to dating. People who want connection without the spotlight. There are no feeds to scroll, no followers to impress, no public-facing activity. Just a space intentionally designed for discretion, where conversations stay between the people having them, and where your personal life isn't treated like content. If keeping things private matters to you, if you want connection without an audience, Ashley Madison is where desire meets discretion. Ashley Madison, blessed are the discreet. Download the app or visit ashleymadison.com/iHeartMedia.
Okay, my edible is starting to kick in right now.
All right,
and so I'm like sitting across from you. So like you're my friend and I consider you like a dear friend, someone I really look up to, and I really know you. Like we know each other. But then there's also like, holy shit, I'm doing Rosie O'Donnell's podcast. Like there's still that
Now,
piece.
do you know that I never believe that anyone thinks that about me?
Yeah.
I have never felt like part of the people that I interviewed and got to be in their orbit, I never felt they're equal. I always knew I was visiting. I had a visa. I had to leave.
I feel that way too.
Yes. So it shocks me that anyone feels that way about me.
Yeah, but you're beloved. Like you're just beloved. And I think I am too. You know, I think people feel like they know us.
Yes.
They trust us. What we have, we expose ourselves. I mean, I've been so transparent about every part of my journey.
Which is why I love you so much. I think that's
I don't know how else to be.
It's me too. I don't know how else to be. Some people say, even in my family, why do you share so much? I'm like, why don't you share so much?
Yeah.
Like if you would tell me your feelings and what upsets you and what you're passionate about, we would get to be so much closer.
I agree. I've always been this way. And maybe it starts from John Waters picking me to be Tracy Turnblad when I was 18. So I was really, like, who I was cherished, you know, from the start of my career. And then once I did the talk show, I mean, I'm being me. Like, I'm just, you know, speaking to real people. I mean, your show is all celebrities. Mine was real people talking about relationship issues. And I was super interested in that, like really curious.
Yes.
I'm still curious about relationships and people and humanity and what people will say and do on camera, off camera. I mean, I'm still that same person that did my show, and it was a grind, as you know.
Yes.
I mean, it was a grind. We had to do 195 a year, but I loved it, you know.
I did too.
I don't want to do it anymore.
No, I don't either. I don't think I could. You know, there's something about your innocence and your youth when you go in there blind and you don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
But in the midst of that kind of popularity and fame, I kind of was unmoored.
Yeah. And you were raising kids too.
Right.
Like
A lot
I
of
was
kids.
too.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I feel, and I know I'm jumping around, but like where I am now, my kids are out of the house. They're on their own. My husband's kids are out of that. Like, it's like me time. And I feel like we've regressed, like we become kids again. And they still have responsibility, but I don't do the grind of a show every day. And I'm not, you know, doing carpool like you are.
Right.
It's a joy.
It really is. And I think that when you get to be 60, when you really, you know, 6 years for you, I turned 60 last March, and I really felt like, God, I have entered the 3rd chapter of the book of my life. And there's only 3. If you're lucky, you get 3 chapters.
Yeah. And your mom died when she was what?
39.
Jesus. Yeah, that's got to fuck with your head. I mean, when you were 39, it must have been a trip, right?
You know what happened? I got that staph infection.
Yeah.
When I was 39. And my mother died at 40, and I was thinking, I'm not going to survive this. And I think I had made that hurdle so huge in my mind that almost I kind of manifested this near-death experience at the same age that she was. And, they came and told me, we're going to have to amputate your wrist or your fingers tomorrow. And then this nurse at the hospital poured this Chinese herbs and said, don't tell doctor, don't tell doctor. Poured these herbs, and the next day the doctor came in and said, it started to heal. And she's just sitting there, and I was like, looked at her. Afterwards, I said to her, what can I do for you? Is there anything you need? Where do you live?
You bought her a house, I'm sure.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to buy her a house or a car. And she said, I want you to do one thing for me, Rosie. I'm like, what's that? In a very, very thick Asian accent, like really beautiful. And she said, I want you to pray to Jesus Christ right now. And I said, you got it. And she held my hand and she said, talk to God in a way that I hadn't heard someone talk to God ever, really.
Wow.
Because, Catholic churches, it's not exactly a Baptist church where people are screaming and telling. It's the most boring thing you ever sit through in your week. And you try to avoid it at all costs. I would hide in Jackie's pool.
Really?
Yes.
So not have to go to church.
And I hear my mother, Roseanne! I'm like, shh. And they'd go off to church without me knowing I was hiding somewhere.
Wow. So that woman saved your hand.
Saved my hand. Wow. And then when I got out of the hospital, I still had my show. I was just 39. When I got out of the hospital, I kept seeing people with one hand missing.
Yeah, that's kind of like when you're pregnant. You see pregnant people everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when you were wearing that splint for a really long time.
Yeah, 6 months.
Oh my God.
I had a staph infection. Look, all the way to here.
Do you still have full mobility? Or
No.
you never?
This finger doesn't work. My middle finger on my left hand. I have no grip strength. Like I can't grab anything like this. So sometimes I do movies or I'm doing it and I go, hey, can I? And it looks like I'm flipping people off.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was from you falling with?
I had on the night of the George Bush election coverage, he was speaking and giving and I went fishing with Kelly.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I cut a little tiny hole, punctured it, taken off the fishing pole price tag, punctured my middle finger, and nothing hurt. So I was like, it's just a little hole, stop bleeding. She's like, let's just go to 7-Eleven and get some Band-Aids. So we went to 7-Eleven and there was a EMT paramedic truck.
Right.
And the guy said, give me your hand. And he looked at it, he goes, can you feel this? Can you feel this? He said, get in your car and drive to Miami and you're going to need surgery.
Because it's severed a tendon or
everything
a nerve.
had severed. The doctor said if you had taken 100 tries, you never could have done as much damage. And it's still, it's a dead finger.
Is it? Wow. All right. I don't have any story like that other than burning my house down in the beach.
On this beach.
On this beach, right? Like a half a mile down.
Here's what I wanted to ask you, though. How do you think you went from being that kid to here? Like, we were at your house. We were at Ricky's yesterday with a couple other friends. And I was sitting there and all of us are like 50s, 60s. And how did we do this?
Right.
You with parents who were definitely mentally struggling and were not kind and were abusive. And, me, would you say that?
I wouldn't abusive. I think my mother did the best that she could.
That's very kind and loving of you.
I think it's true.
And
like,
it's
I think
true.
She, her mother treated her a certain way. My mother, let me go back to what I said about like becoming overweight as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
As a coping mechanism, I think I didn't want to be attractive to men.
Correct.
And I got hairspray like my first week out of finals week. Like, so my mother, here she was so ashamed of me, trying to get me to change, and be normal.
And you said she was ashamed just because of your physical appearance?
I mean, yeah, I think my mother just didn't get me.
Okay.
Like I was just, my sister was more able to be controlled by her. My sister studied the thing in college that my mother wanted her to study. Like I was not going to let anybody tell me like what to do. But, I saw Annie when I was 7 years old and I wanted to be, Andrew McArdle or one of those orphans. Like my grandma Sylvia, when I was 7 years old, she took me to see theater, Pirates of Penzance, everything. And it made me want to be on stage. But it was seeing Annie, a girl that was around my age. And I just was like, I have to do that. And my mother got me singing lessons, which I appreciate. But she also said, you can't try out for Annie because you're not the starving orphan type. You know, and I think that's kind of mean on the surface, but I think she was trying to protect me from being rejected. And, you know, I was this heavyset kid. But my mom, years later, like, it's just, I became her worst nightmare, but then I got famous for that very thing that she was so ashamed of, you know?
Interesting.
Like, it really is. Like, I think it's interesting. And, you know, I didn't let her, I mean, she did great things for me. Like, she gave birth to me and that I'm here. But, you know, I'm definitely not a Nepo baby. You know, I kind of come from nothing.
Yes.
You know.
And that's, I guess, the point. I was looking at all of us, except for Pammy, whose father was the big Mocky
I
Mock.
knew her dad.
Yeah, I had met him a few times too. But aside from Pammy, the rest of us, we were like, you know, poor lower middle class kids from New York. And here we are, all of us, thank God, doing well. And
it's amazing.
In a position where we don't have to work. Imagine that. I can't imagine it. Every day I think of it.
Yeah, and my kids, I mean, this is the first, what do they say, the first generation where our kids aren't necessarily going to be as successful as us, right? So Ross and I talk about that because we have 6 kids between us. And yeah, I mean, I've been incredibly lucky and I've also worked really hard. Yeah, so I mean, despite my upbringing, you know, like you, all 3 women, Robin, Pammy, and you, like, I just admire you all so much. What Pammy has done with her career.
Unbelievable.
It's a masterpiece, that series, and that it stems from her life. And I've known her. We were kids together. And I know exactly how hard it has been to raise those girls on her own. I'm blown away by
Pamela
Adlon, who's
and she
genius.
did the show Better Things on FX for 5 years. A wonderful, unbelievable show. If you haven't seen it, you gotta binge it because you'll fall in love with her. And it is the story of her life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's an authenticity that you can't replicate.
Yep. And just when someone is like the auteur, you know, like a John Waters even, you know, it's like it comes from their brain and they execute it and they put it on the page and it is so brilliant. And it's just, I'm blown away by her and what she's done because, I won't say anymore.
Right.
You know,
when they're your friends and then you're on a podcast.
I know, it's like a weird,
we just, you know, got a little high before we started this and thought, okay, this will be fun. I've loved all that you've done with your documentaries, especially the one about pot, Weed the People.
Yeah.
Really wonderful.
Thank you.
I am the kind of 60-year-old person who never smoked pot till I was 40. And then at 40, it was like I would take 2 little puffs and I would be like flying, you know?
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I loved it. I was like, this is what
got you into it at 40?
My shrink, because I was having no desire for sex. I started menopause at 40. And so I had 0 libido. And she was like, why don't you try smoking a little pot? And I was like, I've never smoked pot. That's what the black t-shirt kids who like Black Sabbath wear. Like, I was not ever like... And then as soon as I started it, I'm like, where have you been all my life?
Oh, I'm the same way. I mean, I first tried pot my only year of college, my freshman year at Ithaca College. And I remember it affected me so much. I feel like it was laced with something because I was so freaked out. I was so paranoid. I remember feeling like I wanted to jump out of the high rise that I lived in. It was really traumatizing and I never did it again. My husband, Rob, who, you know, my ex-husband, my first husband, he liked pot, but a little too much. And so I didn't like, I remember one experience, I did get high with him and we were going to some event and I was sitting at the mirror curling my eyelashes. Yeah. And I was high and he got my attention and I moved my head, but not my eye, and I ripped out.
And they all came off?
I ripped out half my eyelashes. So I didn't smoke pot. I was not into cannabis at all until I met Christian. And Christian was my second husband. I met him when I was 42 and he was on this mission to try to help himself with healing.
Bipolar,
he was bipolar, but he was also had chronic back pain from a car accident. So he was always looking at different things to heal. And he's the one who taught me about CBD before Sanjay Gupta came on and made the big apology about cannabis. Do you remember? I mean, so we started making this documentary back in 2012. Do you know that story?
No.
So I do crazy shit, like not like you do. You like put strangers through school and you do incredibly...
Listen, you think you don't do crazy shit? What about the girl with the weed story who you were treating and then you moved her into your house?
That was what I was just going to talk about.
Yes, I know that goddamn story.
This girl,
don't call me crazy.
That was crazy. Well, I had done Dancing with the Stars.
Which you were great on.
Thank you. I loved it. And I hated it because it was so hard. But it was incredible. This little girl loved Derek Huff and loved thus me because I was his partner. And I found the mom on Twitter. You know, we started engaging. She was this sick little girl. She had this disease called neurofibromatosis 1, which they treat like cancer. It's not cancerous tumors, but it's tumors that they treat with all these cancer drugs. Her picture, I mean, she was 6 years old. She looked like she was 3, no hair, glasses, crooked. I mean, something about this little girl. And I think I saw myself in her. I really think I connected with her. And so next thing you know, I moved them into my house.
Yeah, I remember
to
this.
go on this mission to find like alternative methods because it looked like the cancer treatment was harming her. So Christian and I took it upon ourselves. We were, osteopath, this one. And Abby, my partner who I made the business of being born with, I'm telling her, I'm like, I've got this little girl and her mom living in my house. She's like, what? And I'm telling her the story. I'm telling her about the cannabis, blah, blah, blah. We're talking to cannabis doctors. She's like, I think this is our next movie. And so we started the movie focusing on this little girl. Ultimately, they pulled out of the movie, the project. You know, it was devastating because I didn't need her in the movie. I wanted this little girl in my life.
Sure.
And so we parted ways, unfortunately, but that was the catalyst or the start of this 6-year journey of making this movie. It's really powerful in that it really re-educates about the history of the plant, you know, what was done to kind of smear campaign, not unlike Midwives with my first film, The Business of Being Born. So it was a great film and it's really Christian's legacy.
Well, you know, it did change the way I felt about my own pot consumption because I had such 60-year-old, oh my God, this is a bad thing to do. And then it becomes legal, right? So I remember the first time I was here when it was legal, I call one of my friends and say, do you got any pot you can bring over? Because I wouldn't travel with any. I was like totally afraid I would go to jail.
Yeah.
And they go, just call up MedMen or whatever. I'm like, what?
Did MedMen exist then?
When it first became legal, this is the first time I ever got pot like from a legitimate store.
Okay.
So I went online and I was like, yeah, I'm at the hotel. And, oh, great, Rosie. What room are you in? I'm like, I'll just come down to the lobby. They're like, oh, okay, great. Well, so we got the 2 hybrids, a sativa. And, you know, I have no idea what really is going on at this point. And I get down and I get there and the guy walks in with like a T-shirt and a messenger bag that says MedMen on it, you know?
You want to be on the DL.
Yeah, I was thinking we were going to go, here, buddy, here's the cash. It's $260, right? And he was like, great, Rosie, is there anything else you need? And have you ever tried a gummy? You know, you might want to try it. And I was blown away. I went back to my room feeling like a criminal who was wanted.
That's amazing.
And to this day, still sometimes I feel a little bit like, ooh, I'm doing something illegal.
Wow. Well, I feel I shout it from the rooftops. I mean, I love cannabis. And I was also, when I did my talk show, I was the disciple of Nancy Reagan. I was like the just say no to drugs, you know, very judgmental, very fear-filled, not open-minded in the least. And now, you know, I've done I've done a ton of like,
you did ayahuasca.
I've done ayahuasca a dozen times.
And I say how much it terrifies me.
It is
terrifying. First of all,
terrifying.
I'm on an SSRI and have been since 99. So I can't do it. But let's just say I wasn't. I would never do it. The concept that you're going to be that out of control and you're going to throw up and poop your pants and, you know, and then you're going to see hallucinations. Like, that's my idea of hell.
But then the after effect is you heal your demons. You have no fear of death. I mean, you have ego death. Like I'm telling you, and I'm not encouraging you to do it or anyone to do it.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
But my experiences doing ayahuasca have been life-changing. Life-changing. For example, and I hated it's horrible. It's going to like the depths of like the darkest places, and then you see the light. I mean, you see God. I mean, one time I was in the redwoods up in Northern California during the day. It was the one and only time I did it in daylight. And I remember just being on my knees, my hands touching the ground underneath these incredible redwoods. And I was tears, and I'm seeing and feeling the earth's heartbeat in my hands. It was the most. And that, I mean, other things. I mean, that's not like the biggest thing that happened to me was I made amends to my father, my children. And, you know, I had so much anger and just poison inside of me because of that marriage ending. And so in the end, I came out of that experience saying, oh, I need to like take responsibility for my part in this. And it was incredibly healing for me. I think for him, but also I made amends in front of Owen, my youngest son, who was probably 8 or 9 at that time. It was
very meaningful.
It was,
for you.
I never in a million years, I didn't go in with that intention, but it was just incredibly, it was definitely changed my life.
You know, Melissa Etheridge does it as well. And she has a new one-woman show that I saw off Broadway over Christmas. And the whole last third of it is about an ayahuasca trip, about journeying, as she calls it. And I so couldn't relate to any of it. I was there going, this would never, she made it seem like it was some psychedelic something from the 70s that was going to be fun. But I just had anxiety watching her talk about it.
Yeah. We have the same, I know her shaman or whatever the person who facilitates. I know we've never sat together, but Lisa and Cindy.
Yes,
remember Lisa and Cindy? They were a part of our film. I mean, they weren't in it, but they were part of our journey in getting
well, they were
informed.
pioneers. They had this great pot sales business, and then
They
what
got
happened?
fucked.
They got screwed
fucked by the landlord. I don't remember the whole thing, but Lisa, who's I'm still very close to, she did my grow on my property. So so the medicine that I gave you, those are her strains, her babies, and she taught us how to do it. And
lovely. How are they doing?
Lisa's okay. I mean, I haven't seen her since we harvested, but Cindy took her life a year or two after. Do not know this.
I didn't
I'm
know
telling
this.
you that.
I don't think
gosh,
I knew this. No.
Yeah.
She did. She suffered a lot. Right?
She suffered like Christian. She and Christian were very tight. And they both kind of were from the same planet. Because I think Christian was an alien. And we've talked about this. You believe Dakota might be too.
Actually. She tells me a lot that she is.
I believe that there are certain special people, particularly some people who have challenges or are mentally ill, but they can tap into something else that we can't. And Cindy died about 3 years ago.
Wow, how about that? So sad. Mental illness, when people like Christian and her and friends of mine, and it has to be changed. We have to deal with treating mental illness compassionately and medically, and it has to change.
It feels impossible because the system, we don't take care of our people. And, I just know what I went through with Christian, which this Saturday is the 6-year anniversary of his death.
And you saw him just 2 nights before he died.
3 nights before that was for the last times I saw him. And I actually did everything that everybody told me not to do. I mean, I had been trying to
separate
and start my life over after his second bout with, a psychotic episode. And I just had to remove myself for months, and then I just threw myself into working out and taking care of myself. And he came back through LA and asked to see me. And I was leaving for London shortly after. And so he and I had dinner. Everyone said, meet him for coffee during the day.
Right. Don't bring him home.
Yeah, don't bring him home. Don't have alcohol. I did everything that everyone said not to do. And I brought him home and we did, spend the night together and make love all night. And it was his goodbye to me. And I'm so glad I didn't reject him in that moment because I would have felt very differently about his passing. But I mean, that relationship, and you met him because I remember doing your podcast in Nyack with him.
Yes.
I'm having a flashback.
All of them, honey. I can name all of your boys I've been.
There haven't that
known.
many, right?
Well, come on.
Apollo.
I was going to say, should we do the names on this show?
I didn't lose my virginity until I was almost 21. I got married at 25 to Rob. I, stayed married till 35, met Apollo, was in that relationship for 3.5 years. And then I turned into a slut.
I always tell people, Ricki Lake, you are my spirit animal. I love how you go at love and grab it with both hands. I love how you live your life. The family relationships that you have made with your friends are thicker than most families that I know.
Chosen family.
Your chosen family is strong and vibrant and well tended to by you. You're an amazing woman. You really are. And one day you have to take me to Burning Man. And
wait, this is being recorded, right?
Yes. Okay. One day you're gonna take me to Burning Man, and I'm gonna maybe have a little golf cart,
a little mushroom, a little.
Oh no! Come on, I haven't done mushrooms. No, I'm very much a wuss, honey.
You're never too old.
Never too old.
Whatever. I'm not pushing psychedelics on anyone. I just know, I'm the best me I've ever been because of my open-minded. I was gonna say I'm a seeker, but I don't know if it's about that. I'm just open.
You live your life in full gear with all the colors. Like you use every ounce of color in life and you fucking let it wash over you. And it's the most beautiful thing to have been your friend for 30 years and to know that this is who you are.
Thank you. I love my life. I love, particularly now. Like I wake up with my guy singing. We go to bed. I mean, it's just from like the start of the day, it's just joy and play.
And he's an
gratitude.
astonishing man. He's a wonderful, wonderful man.
Can you believe we're so different? Like he comes from this devout Mormon background.
Right.
You know, I can't, here's what I think. I mean, I believe Christian brought him to me. I believe Christian had to leave. I mean, and I know this sounds crazy.
No,
honey.
Go ahead.
I really don't care how I sound because I know what I believe. And Christian, he didn't want to leave me. He was so in love with me, but he couldn't. Like he was not of this planet. And when I met him, when I had the house fire here on this beach, you know, he and I came together through that fire. And I believe it was divine intervention. And he was supposed to be my greatest teacher. He stayed for 6.5 years. And you know, when I married him, I knew he was like a patient. I mean, I was his caretaker, and I knew I was signing on for that. And we had a pact. And he said to me when we got married, it was just the two of us at the San Ysidro Ranch in Montecito. He said to me, we are together for something greater than just us. I didn't know really what he was talking about at that time, but like through the journey of losing him, like I believe he's now taking care of me. Like I know, I feel it. Ross feels it because it just doesn't make sense how Ross and I got together. We would never have met. We lived in the same vicinity, my apartment in the Marina Del Rey, where you came over there.
Yes, exactly.
He lived on the beach side. You know, he's a corporate attorney.
He's huge.
New to LA.
He's so not just fat. He's tall and big. He's a man.
He's 6'6".
He's a 6'6" big man.
He's currently 259 pounds. We're both losing weight like you are.
You both look great.
We're feeling so good. But anyway, I believe Christian is my angel and my greatest teacher. And I've learned so much about mental illness, about just eternal love, unconditional love. And the best part is that I now love myself the way he loved me.
How beautiful, Ricki. And on this 6th anniversary of his passing, you know, let's all take our time and feel it and remember him. He was a beautiful, free-spirited man. And he did love you greatly, and it was obvious, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, there's so much mental illness. Love doesn't have a say, right?
No.
Well, listen, this is the first time I've ever gotten high and done really anything work-related.
Really?
Yeah, I would have a beer sometimes doing stand-up before I went on.
Yeah.
But I'm a smoke my pot alone and hang out and vibe in my house. You know, I'm not a... Let's get
social.
high.
No.
Let's get high and go somewhere. No. Now, if it's a bunch of us, like it was the other night, that's a different thing.
Now, why?
Anxiety.
Anxiety because someone else is going to judge you? What is?
No, because I don't want to be out of control in public. I don't want to be at the mercy of other people's mind. I want my mind to be focused on getting myself there and back in the car and making sure Dakota has what she wants. And you know, but when I have my alone time, you know, I'll definitely take an edible or two and put on something that really moved me, you know, and watch it for the 3 times in a row and take notes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we get high every night and it's like, it's the best. It's the best. Anyway,
There we go.
I digress.
All right. I love you, Rick.
I love you too.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of hand-cooked tires. Go to TireRack.com to see their hand-cooked test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Hardee's Barbecue Pulled Pork Frisco Burger with slow smoked pork and American Angus beef is back, and now just $5.99 in the app. Got that appetite appeal. Consider it approved. All right, that's it. But still, Hardee's Barbecue Pulled Pork Frisco Burger is back, and now just $5.99 in the app. Only for a limited time. Only at Hardee's. Ooh, apptastic? No? Registration and app required. Available for limited time at participating restaurants. See app for terms.
Some things never go out of style. Precision, confidence, presence. That quiet moment when craftsmanship meets motion and every detail feels intentional. The new 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 doesn't shout. It draws you in. Sculpted lines, effortless response, power delivered like a whisper. Experience the GLE 350 today at James Motor Company. Because tradition still matters, we've just learned how to make it pulse a little faster. Visit jamesmotorcompany.com.
Hey, we're back, and now we've got some questions from you or comments, little voice memos that you leave for me at onwardrosie@gmail.com. There you go, onwardrosie@gmail.com. We get those emails. They put together some of the questions, and I hear them for the first time right here. So we're going to get into that right now. First question, roll it, would you?
Hey Rosie, my name is Mark. I'm a nurse in Washington, D.C. I'm a gay guy in my mid-30s. I'm looking for some dating advice. I've been really consumed in getting my master's this past couple years and also really trying to find a committed boyfriend, but it's been super difficult. Dates have not been going far. Do you have any advice on where I should be looking, what I should be doing, anything in regards? Could use your help. Thanks, Rosie.
Sure, honey, I'll be glad to give you help, although I don't have the best record in romance. But I think it's really important to find someone who is like-minded, that you have the same kind of values and outlook on the world, and that's not always easy to do. But if you go to places that really interest you, like for me, the theater or to art shows or museums, and I find that people who have similar interests like that, it's a great place to start. I think that Tinder and Bumble and swipey swipe. I don't think that that's the way that people really get a sense of who each other really who they are, because we curate our own image in social media. It's not an accurate portrayal of who we are. And I think there's a lot of misinformation and non-accurate assumptions that you make when it's solely a social media kind of relationship. So I would say go to places that you like. It sounds like you've been very busy, and congratulations on getting your master's and being a nurse. I think nurses are the heartbeat of the country, and if it wasn't for them, no one would ever get well. Their job is to love and to heal people. Can you imagine that? That's your job, to love and to heal people? And they do it, and they care for them. Their job is caring and loving. So congratulations to you on having that wonderful, wonderful career, and congratulations on getting your master's. And now work on the other part of your life. You seem to have gotten the career trajectory really right, and I know romance will be on the way. Go slow, honey. There's no rush, and good luck. Let me know how it goes. We got time for one more. Here we go. Roll it when you got a minute.
Hi, Rosie. My name is Laura. And I have a question for you that you may or may not want to answer, but I was wondering, when did you start to notice that there might be something not adding up for Dakota? I ask because a lot of times girls are not diagnosed until much later. So I'm just curious, when did that journey of questioning start for you? Okie doke, thank you.
Thank you. Great question. Thank you so much. I'd love to answer it. Here's the thing. When she was 1, she said full sentences that were lines from Frozen. So I was sitting with her. She had just turned 1, had just had her birthday. She was sitting on my lap. We were watching Frozen. And right before Olaf says, "I've been impaled," she looks at me and says, "I've been impaled." I said, "What?" And then I hear the TV, "I've been impaled." And then she looks at the TV. And I was like, did you just recite that sentence? Not only did she recite it, but it sounded exactly like Olaf. Like, it was kind of creepy. Now, she was my 5th kid that I had. And I also had 2 foster kids. And, I've raised a lot of kids, and I knew something was different about Dakota. That is the first thing was the I've been impaled, or maybe right before that, the fact that she didn't seem to answer to her name. There was sort of nothing you could do to get, if you said Dakota, she wouldn't turn. Now, at some point, I started calling her Monkey and making a noise like, ee, hey, Monkey, ee. And when I did the ee, she'd turn around. So she responded to the sound more than to the words. So I took her in, and I had kids who had other issues of learning difficulties, and I was familiar with what we had to do. So I went and got her the tests that were appropriate and met with some autism doctors, and they told me her diagnosis from the time she was 2. And, I'm so happy that I knew early on what to look for, and that I knew where to get her the help, and that I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford to get her the best help. And that has to change in America. Everyone needs to get their kids who are suffering healthy, and it should be available to all people. I firmly believe that. Socialized medicine. I believe that we have to take care of our citizens, and starts with the smallest of them. So thank you for that. She's an amazing, amazing young person, and I'm in love with her. I think she's the greatest, and her confidence is inspiring. So thank you for caring about her. I appreciate it. All right, everybody, that's it for today. There it is. We are done, and I hope you enjoyed Ricki Lake. I love her so much. Thank you, Rick. Next week, guess who we have? Stephanie Mills, who is an amazing mom to a special needs son with Down syndrome. We talk all about our special needs kids and how it's changed us. I saw her first on Broadway when she was just 17 years old, starring in The Wiz. And it was one of the best things I have ever seen on stage in my life. I'm so happy that we became friends, and we've remained friends, and I love her so much. Stephanie Mills is my guest next Tuesday here on Onward with Rosie O'Donnell.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.